Sometime back, I got to attend one funeral service in our locality, and I was surprised and stunned by what happened there. A short incident. So, in our culture, the eldest son of the family has to speak about the deceased father or the mother and say something about them, maybe their life legacy or memories, and then anything that they want to share. So, when they were having a conversation, and being a pastor's wife, I get to go into the places where many others cannot, like private conversations. And also, one of the relatives was suggesting the son of the family to speak something good about the father. So he said, you have to speak something positive about your father, okay? Because the father had died, and then he was being the eldest, he had to speak. But I was surprised with the answer that the son gave. He said, I don't have anything positive to talk about my father. So I don't want to speak. What would I say? Whatever he did is everything is negative. So I have nothing to say, nothing positive to say about him. So the conversation just went like that, and the other man was trying to convince him. But personally, when I heard that, it hit me like a big rock, because I have been a mother who always believed in discipline, who have always believed in spanking kids if needed, and also biblical discipline. So I was taken aback and with that statement, and I was um, just thinking, I will die, my husband will pass away. On that day, what my sons, what our children will say, or what are we giving them, what legacy, what memory, what impact and influence that we are leaving for our kids to talk about us after we are gone. So, as someone who always advocates for disciplining children, it hit me hard. I was forced to think about it because I have always, whenever it came to discipline, and when my children they argue, I will always take them back to the Bible and say, see, in the Proverbs and in other parts of the Bible, it talks about disciplining. So if you don't listen, if you don't do this, you are supposed to be disciplined, you are supposed to be spanked, because the Bible says parents who don't love, the father who doesn't love doesn't spank the kids or doesn't discipline the kids. So I always gave a reason to discipline them. So after this incident, I started thinking that am I doing it too much? In the moments when I discipline my kids, am I hurting them so much that they will not see the love that I have for them when I always emphasize on disciplining? Or am I being so busy in my work that they don't see the love that I have for them, that the works that I do for them, the chores I do for them, or the times that I have been working, do they see my love in that? Because if the day I die, I did not want my sons to say that I don't have anything positive to talk about my mom or my dad. So I was taken aback. And as I said, I always talked about disciplining, and I always quoted the Bible verse, especially Ephesians chapter 6. I think many of us parents and in Sunday school, we teach our kids, and then we always remind them, you need to honor your parents, you need to obey your father and mother, because it's the commandment by God. And if you don't do, you will not flourish, you will not be blessed, and it says in Ephesians 6. But then after this incident, I was reminded of that one verse that comes after those obey your parents verse. So Ephesians chapter 6, 1 to 3, if you see, it talks about honoring your parents, obeying your parents, but it also talks in verse 4 that fathers, which can also be translated as parents, because in Greek it is patera, which also can be extended to parents, not only fathers. So parents, do not exasperate your children or do not provoke your children to anger. Instead, bring them up in the training and in instruction of the Lord. So this verse came in my mind, and I was thinking, how can I exasperate or provoke my children, irritate my children, or make them frustrated or mad, to the extent that they don't see my love, but they only get angry and irritated, frustrated with me as a mother or my husband as a father. So I wanted to go deeper into this because I never, telling the truth, I never focused on this verse. I will always talk about obeying your parents, honoring your parents, but I never, I knew this verse is there, that it talks about not making your, provoking your children, but I never took it seriously or had any in-depth study on this. So after this incident, I got into the verse, and then I started digging in, and then I started doing some study that what does it mean and how can I irritate or frustrate or provoke or exasperate my children. So while reading this verse, I got to study few things about the background, because the time when Paul wrote this letter was during the Roman dominion. That time Roman culture and Roman rule was everywhere, and at that time Romans, they had a very high esteem for the father. So they even had a Roman law, which is in Latin, it is patria potestas, which means in English, the father's power. And it gave immense unilateral power in the hands of father at that time, this law. In this, according to the law, father had all the rights over his family, particularly to his kids. So if he wanted, he could sell any of his kids or family members as slaves. He could even put them in chains and let them work in the fields as laborers and slaves himself, or he can even give death penalty to his children or his family members. And this power lasted till the father lived. And also, it is said that during this time, if a child is born to a father, and if he goes and he bends down, picks up the child can live. But if the father doesn't pick up the child at his or her birth, and he turns back away from the child has to be thrown away. So these kind of children will be either they die, or either they will be taken and made prostitutes in the temples and in streets, or they will be made slaves. So the condition of the children or their positioning was very, very dangerous because of the father's power and the abuse that happened because of this power that was given to fathers, in father's hand. So it was in this context that Paul is writing this letter to Ephesians, and then I think he had this in mind, that the cultural influence of the Romans had also maybe infiltrated in the Jewish culture and Christian churches. So here the Bible, God is protecting the children so from the abuse, because there are families where children are abused, not only verbally but physically also, because taking parents as their guardians and then taking the advantage of being the head of the family, there could have been abuses for the children. So in keeping that in mind, I realized that maybe in this modern time we may also take Bible in too extreme, that we hurt our kids, maybe not physically but in other ways where they die emotionally towards us. So that's why we, I think, see a lot of detachment among the children and the parents, where the father and the sons, they don't click, where the mother and the daughter, they don't click together, they don't have a relationship. Once they are out of the house for further studies, they don't want to come back home, or they don't miss their homes. They don't have a relationship with the parents. From that funeral incident, the son, he was so irritated or frustrated with his father that he did not have anything to say about him, even on his deathbed. I don't think the father did anything on purpose that he will irritate or frustrate his child. Maybe he was so much into providing for them that he had never given any time to the son or his children, or maybe there were other things that happen along the life, which the father did not realize. But we have the word, and we as parents, we need to also see, along with discipline and training, I think we also need to give our children that space where they will see our love, our goodness, our mercy, also along with the discipline and training that we do. So I wanted to relate this to our context, that how can we avoid these things. So I went through some studies, and I landed up into Dr. John MacArthur, and he gives some points where in a ways how as parents we can irritate or frustrate or provoke our children. So I would like to read these points, and I think it helped me to see, look into my own heart and see what changes I can make, and maybe directly, indirectly, knowingly, unknowingly, I have been doing these things to my kids, so I need to change in those areas. So Dr. John MacArthur gives this some of the points which I think are very important for us as parents, as mothers to know. So he gives some points. So number one, he says by overprotection, and I think I am guilty of this. There is a term called helicopter parenting, where you don't allow children to make decisions, you don't let them go, the way they want, or you don't let them do things on their own. Everywhere they go, you are just like a helicopter hovering above them. So I think Dr. MacArthur is talking about that, where we are overprotective when we don't allow them their own expression, or we don't let them take decisions, and their ideas are always rejected. So when we are overprotected, we exasperate, we provoke our kids. Secondly, he says by favoritism and comparison. I think many parents are guilty of this. I try my best not to compare between my kids or have a favorite child, because as children, I don't know your kids, my kids always say, Mama, tell me today who is the best boy, or who is the most good child today. So, and I have to say, you all are same for me. I love you all same, but they still will insist that who is the best, please tell. So having that balance where we don't compare them with each other or with their friends, or have a favorite child, because sometimes we parents tend to have a favorite child, and in that the other one may feel neglected. So Dr. John MacArthur says if we having a favorite child, it will exasperate the child and provoke them. Another point he says is by pushing unrealistic achievements. I think many of the parents are also guilty of this, pushing them their limits and asking them to do way beyond maybe their capability, or what they want to do. Children, especially in academics, sometimes in sports, sometimes in extracurricular activities they take part in. We always have these expectations from them which we want them to do, but and when they are not able to do that, we show our remorse, we show that how sad we are. I think that also has to be avoided at all cost, because children are different, and some are good in academics, some are good with sports, some are good in different skills. So I think we parents, we need to realize what they are good at, and help them to develop it, and then help them to nurture those skills, instead of trying to let them be excellent in everything. So I think that is very, very good point. And another point he says is by not rewarding or complimenting or honoring your children. So when a child achieves something, or does something for you, or you know uh, does some achievement in school or in sports or anything, and we don't reward them, compliment them, or honor them, so that also kills their uh, joy, I think. That provokes them, that can make them frustrated and irritated, that they try their best, but there is no reward or no celebration. So I think it's very important that we, not every time, but when there are some achievements that they go through, or maybe just for um, for no achievements. We can celebrate them time to time. Another point he says is by failing to sacrificing for them, like giving our time. We are always busy, we are always working for them, but not giving them time. So this also is a very important point. I think when the children see that we are working all the time, they won't realize we are working for them if we are not giving them time. So maybe going for a walk or watching a movie together, drawing together, or any things that you do with your children. So giving them time, that also will help them not to be irritated or frustrated on parents when they see that we sacrifice our time and we sacrifice ourselves for them. Another point he says is by not letting them make mistakes. Very important, I think, because we want our children to be perfect, and sometimes we try to put our weaknesses on them, and we don't want to see those weaknesses on them. We want them to be better than us. I think every parent want that, but that also makes it very frustrating for children, I think, when they are trying so hard, but they make mistake, and then we just keep pinpointing them instead of giving them grace and mercy, because we have to remember that we are sinner ourselves. We are the ones who make mistake all the time, but God has been forgiving. God has been merciful to us ourselves, so we need to show that mercy to our kids also. Having that perfectionist attitude, I think, will really irritate and frustrate and provoke our children. Another thing Dr. MacArthur says is by neglecting children or withdrawing your love and affection. So when they falter or when they make mistake, the worst thing that as a parent we can do is to withdraw our love. Because you did not listen to me, I'm not going to love you. Because you did not achieve this what I wanted, I'm not going to love you. So affection, love, forgiveness, mercy, if we keep that from them, I think that will deeply hurt the child, and it will definitely exasperate, which Bible says not to do. And lastly, he says by bitter words and physical cruelty. When we use words demeaning words to our children, or cursing them, cussing them, maybe saying they are worthless, or showing by, maybe we don't say from our mouth, but we show from our attitude that they are disappointment for us. So I think using those bitter words or showing our bitter emotions towards them, and physical cruelty where you don't know the barrier, you don't know where to stop, spanking them or hitting them anywhere. So physical abuse, it's like violence. So those things will definitely kill the joy and the childhood in a child. So if we want not to exasperate our children, if you do not, if we as parents, we don't want to frustrate and irritate our children, I think we need to keep these things in our mind. There may be many other points you may have experienced, I don't know, but yes, definitely I'm going to work on this, and I'm sure that you also will have to work on some of the things. So if you are a mother, a parent watching this, I would like to ask you, go through the points, see if you are also guilty of these things where we exasperate, where we don't let our children have those good memories as a child, so that when they grow up, when we die on our deathbed or our funeral, at least they will have something positive to talk about us. So thank you very much for watching. Let me know what do you think, and if there are things that you also got, you also realized during, after listening this, that you are also going to change, comment.